Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvimavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, may He protect us both. May we both enjoy together. May we both exert together. May our studies become brilliant. May we not become disputatious and hate each other. Om, peace, peace, peace. Everybody is welcome. So last verse, we were talking about Jnana Vijnana Triptatma, a person who's understood the knowledge, and after understanding the knowledge, he or she has implemented the knowledge in their own life. So when the implementation starts, life becomes much more easier. You don't get agitated, you don't get stressed, and you live basically a peaceful life. When we say like this, the Granthas are saying this, and the so-called speakers or the Acharyas are talking about how peaceful you can live in the world, within the world, with all the relationships and all the duties and responsibilities one can really go about. It doesn't look a possibility. It's a little difficult. So many people come up with the question, but how to do it? How to do it? Very easy. This is Dhyana Yoga. You have to understand that the whole chapter is Dhyana Yoga. You talk meditation. So it's all a little bit of knowledge and a little bit of pulling towards within yourself. Any activity which you become introverted, you will reach for a higher level faster than extroverted. Extroverted person doesn't reach anywhere actually. They only get agitated. So how do you go about? That's the next verse which we are going to do. It's a very beautiful verse. Just chant the verse. Shanai Shanai Ruparame Buddhya Dhruti Grihitaya Atma Samstham Mana Kritva Nakinchidapi Chintaye. Shanai Shanai, little by little, let him withdraw by the intellect held firm, having established the mind in the self. Let him not think of anything else. How do you do that? Every spiritual exercise, in fact, my spiritual, any exercise, which includes even physical exercise, has to be done very slowly and deliberately. This field, nowadays, people are running around, they want a very good physique within 2 months, within 3 months. And the same thing has happened to the level of the mind. I want spirituality, if it can be done in perhaps 15 days, 10 days. And people are running in a hurry to become more and more spiritual. And how do you show? How can one show that you are more spiritual than the other person? How can one show that I am more spiritual than you? Is it possible? The idea is never. You can't show it to anybody. Why? You are responsible for your own growth. Nobody else in the world is responsible for that. Your growth. Only you are. So what do? Shanai Shanai. Take your time. Growth has to come within years of your dedication. One of the physical personalities who used to teach exercises, he used to tell that, remember, exercises should not be for weight loss. Exercises should be a way of life. So the target is not within 1 year, how do I look? The target is, can I exist and can all my limbs be functional even after 100? Chatagu Samaha says Upanishads, 100 years I am going to live. That's the minimum. And people who say that, Are kya karenge utna ji ke, we should better die, basically selfish because they don't have any other higher goal in life. But when you have a higher goal in life, years are not enough. You try to manipulate and do everything possible to elongate your life. You do breathing exercises to make it more and more longer. You do pranayama, you do everything else because the cause is to be better. Chatagu Sama, 100 years you have to live. So how do you do it? Every day, little by little. Don't put much effort. It is not necessary. Just do a little, and that's where your spiritual evolution will start. Don't be in a hurry. A child was given a seed, a chiku seed, and said, Beta, you plant this and you'll see the chiku plant coming. And the boy planted it, put water, fertilized it, everything, and then he waited for full 2 days. And in 2 days, nothing is happening. So he put a screwdriver back again and removed the whole soil to see whether the seed is there. And the seed was there. Then he covered it nicely, again he put water and waited for 3 whole days. He went on doing that until his mother saw what he was doing and says, listen, you have to give it time to grow. Just because you are hurrying it, the process of hurrying, the growth will not be there. It needs to grow in its own time. You learn this, you have learned what life is. It needs to grow in its own time. Don't hurry. Leave it. You put water, you put all the manure and everything, leave it. Automatically the saplings will come out. You just do what your niyatam karma every day. Similarly, when you are with your family, with your children, don't hurry up their growth. Look, the neighbor's boy is doing this, neighbor's girl is doing, our child is not, she's quite dumb. Why do you want to say that? Just let the child, as soon as you give a little bit of gap, a little bit of time for any child, and how much time that nobody can say, till, true story, till the age of 33, I did not know what I was going to do with my life. I'm putting it out here so that people know. Till 33, I had no idea. I was just working, but I didn't know what to do. So give yourself time. Doesn't matter. It's not a race. Nobody is watching me, where I'm coming first or last. It's just, can you sleep peacefully at the end of the day? Can you be useful to the society, even if it is in your own small, insignificant way? Just do that. Even the rivers, when it turns, it never turns in right angles. It takes a huge curve and then turns. Similarly, growth takes time. Never be in a hurry. There are groups, I don't want to name them for obvious reasons, where they say that we have a program called Intensive Enlightenment. Intensive Enlightenment program, okay? And this program is for, I think so, 5 days or 7 days. So they collect some fees, 25,000 per person, and they take everybody to a particular resort or a mountainous area. And there you have to sit there. They will give you food. Food, they will not spend much because they will give only sattvic food. So sattvic is cucumber, tomato, carrot, something raw, which is not very expensive. So they'll give you that. They'll give you some 1-2 capsules and tablets, which is vitamin tablets, and then you have to go out in the wilderness. You have to look at the tree. There are a lot of trees there. Each one go independently. You should not talk to each other. Then touch the tree and ask the tree, "How are you doing? Are you feeling good? What do you think about the world?" You have to sort of communicate from within to the tree. And if you are, there is wise and there is otherwise. So if you are otherwise, then you will also hear the tree talking to you. Then there is the sparrow chirping on the branch, and it is chirping away to glory. You look at the sparrow and say, "So what are you doing? Where is your family? Are you happy with the family? Are you calling?" So you have these communications with everything around. Then they have meetings, some kind of a lecture. The last day, they all sit in a circle, and then the Guruji, whoever the Guruji is sitting like this, and the other person will say, "Sir, actually, I felt so good in these 7 days. I felt so light. I also lost weight around 5 kilos. That's a different matter. But spiritually, I feel so good. I feel nearer to the world. Now I can understand where all the problem is." And the teacher looks smilingly at that person and says, "Very good. You have realized. Very good. You have realized." And in that way, he makes around 7 to 8 to 10 people realize in a group of 15. You have realized. One person says, "Sir, actually I closed my eyes, but when I opened, I could see the blue light or a white light coming from you, and it hit me. And it hit me in my heart chakra, and I got awakened." And the Guru says, "Very good. You have reached that state." In 7 days, they make 7 people, 10 people realize like that based on the fees. Others who didn't get it, they put enough inferiority complex in them to say that you were not as advanced at the other 7, but your time will come. Very soon we are going to have an advanced course of spiritual enlightenment. Please join us. 2-day courses, 3-day courses springing up right, left and center. I am not saying not to go. Please don't get me wrong. It's a very good initiative. It's a good trigger to make you understand that there is something else other than the routine, monotonous life which I am living. Fair enough, it's a trigger. But at the end of the day, it is not a race. It is not a race. Spiritual evolution takes time. Why? Because there is no unit of measurement. You can't take a scale and weigh yourself against anybody with whom you are going to weigh. There is no compare. You can't compare yourself to the other person. You can't compare yourself to the colleagues. You can't compare yourself to relatives. You can't compare to your own family members. There is no comparison. The only comparison which you have, which cannot be referred by the outside world, is what you were in the past and what you are now. That's all. There's nothing more than that. Since that is the thing, mind keeps on dragging outside. Look what that person is doing. Look spiritually how much that person has attained. That person is doing so much, so well known, so much bank balance. All these things has nothing to do. And external works. He's going in, he's built an orphanage. That person has built probably 100 ashrams. People know him all. All that has nothing to do with spirituality. That's the beauty. We are in a race. And Krishna is telling, Shanai, Shanai, go slow. Don't be in a tearing hurry to reach a particular, I want to become Paramatma. This is Jivatma, I want to become a Paramatma. You will never be. It's not a race. Take every day as it comes. Treat your every breath as the most precious thing in the world and use it admirably. Use it beautifully. Shanai, Shanai. When you do that slowly, and what happens? The mind is fixed by the intellect. Intellect held firm So intellect is not moving. This is what I want to do in life. So how do you do? The subtle intellect inside you, that which is conscience, which gives you a line, a channel to work on, it says, this is what I want to do. At the absolute level, it says, I want to gain the supreme knowledge, Sankhya Yoga. I want to understand what is this absolute reality and become it. Fair enough. That is a state of perfection. If you think every time, but there is no state of perfection, then you have missed the point. There is a state of perfection. You have to take it that. And to reach that, what is the state of perfection? Where the intellect is hooked at the higher and the mind is completely dormant. Dormant in the sense of it's very peaceful. It is no more agitated. It is not going behind external relationships and contacts and trying to achieve happiness from there. The intellect is anchored in the self. And then break down that reality, absolute reality, into smaller goals. If I need to live till 100 years so that I have enough time to realize myself, then I need this body, this carriage to take me till that. Therefore, I need to be fit. I need to be fit not to show myself to the society. I need to be fit so that I can carry this subtle body inside mind and intellect till its end course. Everything anchored to break it into. For that, I may need certain sustenance, money, assets, relationships, whatever it is, to sustain myself. Have that. Everything is broken up into small goals, but the intellect never wavers from its original destination. Slowly, Shanai, Shanai, with the intellect being firm, what do? Establish the mind in the self. Educate the mind that there is a state, a higher state, where there is no stress and agitation. So if there are people who love to argue, so they say, but all the men and people we have met everywhere, they are all agitated. Sometimes, in the comic books, they show even the rishis and the gurus get agitated. Everybody gets agitated. So I don't think there can be a position where there is no agitation. There is. I'll give you a proof. In your own life, have you spent in a day, any day for that matter, how many of you have gone for vacations? Quite a lot of people would have gone for a vacation. Now, when you're going for a vacation, have you been in a mental state where you are sipping a cup of tea or coffee or whatever is your drink, you are alone and you are watching the scenery, either a snow-capped mountain or the ocean or the greenery of the forest, anywhere, and you are just sitting there for probably 5 minutes, 10 minutes, make it 15 minutes, and you are very peaceful. The mind goes blank. You don't want anything from the world. In fact, if anybody comes at that time also, you feel they should not talk. Just sit and enjoy the chirping of the birds. Enjoy the whistling of the wind through the woods. Just enjoy the ocean, gurgling of the ocean. Enjoy the serenity of the mountains. And you just, if anyone has experienced that even for 5 minutes, that itself is proof that in your day of agitation and stress, 5 minutes of peace you got. You got it. The only difference is this 5 minutes was based on some external stimuli. Can you improve it? Can you increase it to 20 minutes, to half an hour? No, to 5 minutes without external stimuli. Now I can sit at my own house, own ashram, wherever you are sitting, and just go in a particular place where I don't need anything from anybody. Multiply that with proper dedication and sadhana, into a lifetime. And that is what the spiritual people are talking about. Multiply that experience into a lifetime. 2 days, 3 days, 6 days, 1 week, multiply it. Where each and every moment you are living as if it's the last. That kind of an experience where you're living like that is called inspired living. There is no effort in inspired living. You are doing because you love to do it. So intellect has educated the mind to fix itself on the self. And once you do that, next, let him not think of anything else. You should not think of anything else. Nothing lower should bother you. You are at a different plane altogether. So any time the lower comes and says, but you know, this is what we are supposed, just push it out. Not now. When you are attending satsang, now, when you are attending a satsang, there may be 100 disturbances around you. There may be a bell ring, there may be children running, there may be a husband sitting and watching TV or wife, whatever, there may be 10,000 disturbances. They may be calling you. Your own mind may be saying, oh my God, what's in the kitchen? Oh my God, I need to do this finance statement. Something or the other, you have to just push that thought away and say, not now. That's all. The job of the intellect in spiritual studies is just when the world is entering in a particular time, a wrong time, you just say, not now. At present, I am studying. At present, I am analyzing my own life. Let the studies be over. Let me understand it properly. And after the satsang is over, after the class is over, bring it on. Just bring it on. All the problems, get it. I know how to tackle because I am mentally prepared now. But this growth has to be done very slowly and very gradually. You can't put a thermometer in your mouth and say how much I have gained. No comparisons with anybody. You be in your own path and you will easily reach that higher state. Don't be in a hurry. Then nobody will know also. Doesn't matter. Because they see only external paraphernalia. They will see only what kind of shawl I am wearing, what kind of kurta I am wearing, what is the background I am wearing, where I am talking, how many people are there which are following, how many likes in the video. All these are external gambles. The people will watch accordingly that. That's what they are. They are herd. So everybody will follow a herd. I don't want you or anyone else to follow a particular thought pattern because everybody else is following. There were not 1,000 Krishnas. There were 100 Kauravas, but Krishna was only one. Because you are unique. How to reach? Slowly, slowly, you will reach that state. Now, Arjuna is a very intelligent guy. He is listening in between Dhyana Yoga, where Krishna is teaching him how to meditate. And Arjuna has a question. And so downright practical. Yes, sir. Thank you very much. I'll also sit and meditate, and slowly, slowly thoughts will come, and that thoughts will get away, and then I'll reach the higher self. Huh? Thank you very much, Krishna. He doesn't say that. He is asking question. And question and answer, different questions and different answers, is the backbone of spiritual evolution. As soon as you are told not to ask questions, you have become an animal. Because a lion sitting beside the other lion will never ask, how are you doing? They will not ask. No animal can ask, are you okay? Can I do something for you? This is only a prerogative for a human being. Only a human being with his intellectual capacity can ask questions and gain answers to grow from within. So as soon as questions are squashed and say, don't ask, there is some problem. Therefore, more and more, in this class also I told you, more and more people should ask a lot of questions. But there should not be any arrogation. You can't be arrogant enough to the teacher, say that this is what I think. Because one person actually asked me, not in this group is like just gold, but there are other classes which you used to take. So one person said, but I don't agree with you, because this is the way world is supposed to be seen. So I just, at that time it was a physical class, it was not an online class. So I just asked, are you asking me or are you telling me? The person, no, I'm telling you. I said, then maybe you're right. And I moved on. He said, but then you have to answer. I said, you are not asking me. You are giving your opinion about what your question should be answered as. So you already have an answer in mind. You're giving an opinion. And based on that opinion, I don't want to speak. It's okay. Let us agree to disagree. What's wrong in that? No, that person did this, then I do it. Then this, then different stories are going on. Why do I need to bother? What has that got to do with my life? What has that got to, what that question has got to do with my, so somebody's listening, somebody's like, it's okay, fair enough. You stick to your channel. I gave this example a long time back. There was a strange thing about Sherlock Holmes, a fictional character, detective, Baker Street in England. They were writing a book, Arthur Conan Doyle. And it is said that Sherlock Holmes did not know that the earth revolved around the sun. So his assistant, Dr. Watson, asked him, say, is it true that you don't even know that the earth is revolving around the sun? Sherlock Holmes looked at Watson and said, yes, it is true. I don't know that the earth revolves around the sun. But now if you are telling me, I know. Now tell me what that knowledge has brought different in my life. What has that knowledge brought? Okay, the earth revolves around the sun. So what? Well, so what happened? How is that my growth? He said, I am focused on criminology, fighting criminals. Any time any crime occurs, I know everything about the crime. I know how to break a lock. I know about poisons. I know how to detect poisons, the undetectable kind also. I know all the thing about crime because that is my field. And I don't need to know anything which is other than that. So is it possible for us not to comment on any stray? It's like dogs barking, Stray dogs suddenly bark. Whenever I go out from a society where I'm staying, when I go down, in the morning there were classes 7 o'clock. Suddenly there will be 4 dogs barking at me. One day I got angry and I looked at those dogs and I started barking. The dogs will bark. That's their nature. If I start barking, I belong to that level. You walk off. That's it. So intellect, don't think of anything. Let not your intellect be pulled down. Let not the mind be pulled down to the lower. And here Arjuna is asking a beautiful question. We'll do this verse now. Arjuna uvacha yoyam yogastvaya proktaha samyena madhusudana etasyaham na pashyami chanchalatvam sthitim sthiram. Arjuna said, see, so honest, straight away question. What is the question? You are saying, okay, I'll read it first, okay? This yoga of equanimity taught by you, O Madhusudana, I do not see its enduring stability owing to restlessness. Whatever you are saying, O Lord Krishna, I agree, may be very easy and all. But you know what? A few chapters back, this is what Arjuna is talking. A few chapters back, you only told me that the mind is restless. So he is listening. The beauty is when the question comes, that means the person is listening. The mind is restless. So if it is restless by nature, how can it be stable? How can it just be there? Because it needs to run everywhere. It's liquid. It's like water. You throw water on the floor, it will flow everywhere. So the nature of the mind is restless. If the nature itself is restless, I am born with that mind. My mind is running everywhere. Then suddenly now you are saying, quieten the mind. Straight away, beautiful question. Arjuna is saying, oh Madhusudana, another name for Krishna. Madhu was a demon. Sudana means a killer of that demon Madhu. So Krishna is also a killer, and he is also saving other people from this killer, Madhu. So a person can be both. Attack the sin, never the sinner, is the message here. Exactly like Jesus Christ. So, oh Madhusudana, whatever you say, agreed. The yoga of equanimity, whatever is keeping the mind calm, taught by you, I agree. But I do not see an enduring stability owing to restlessness. It is restless in nature. The mind has these two qualities. Shall I say it now? Let's go for the next verse. Next verse, because it is saying the same thing with a few additional qualities. Okay. Chanchalam himana Krishna pramathi balavadridam tasyaham nigraham manye vayoriva sudushkaram. The mind verily, O Krishna, is restless, turbulent, strong, and obstinate. I consider it as difficult to control the wind. Two minds. When somebody was asking a teacher that what are the seminars you take, Swami Parthasarthi, he said, I take stress management, but I'm very ill-equipped by taking stress management. I don't know why am I taking it. So we were completely shocked as students, that why is he making that statement? He said, because stress management need to be taken by a person who's understood stress, experienced it, and tried to got away with it. But I never had any stressful moments. I was never stressed. Therefore, I really don't know what stress is. It's as simple as that. Smoking is bad for health. What it does, I don't know, because I never smoked. I've never had alcohol. That kind. So Krishna is talking that this is how a peaceful mind is, and is describing the peaceful mind, which is his state, which is his mental state. Arjuna, being a Rajasic personality, is describing his mind state. And thank God that he's describing his mind state, because it is every mind. Most people belong to this category. Most of the normal people. I'll give a demarcation here. Whenever the scriptures say worldly person, worldly person, worldly person, it is not to put down the worldly person who's got duties and responsibilities. Please don't get it wrong. Krishna was a worldly person too. Okay, worldly person means you are staying in the world, and a worldly person is represented that he or she is extroverted in nature, and happiness is dependent on external objects and beings in his life. That is what is worldly. So when they say a worldly person, where my dependency on the external world is more than my internal happiness within. That's the worldly person. So what worldly person's mind is what? Restless. These are certain qualities. It's very, very restless. Asthira and Chanchala. Remember, this is everybody's mind. It is not one person's mind. Okay? So even my mind is the same thing. Everybody's mind is restless, asthira, and Chanchala, unstable. First of all, when you are sitting and listening in the class, and if I ask you, we have been communicating this knowledge for past 35 minutes precisely. I'm not sure about it, but maybe 35 minutes. How many of you sat and heard each and every word of mine with proper emphasis, without your mind going anywhere other than the laptop or the what's it called, the mobile phone, where you are before you, how hardly anybody, because the mind would have gone out. As it is in a class, people can't focus. Now here it is there in the home, it's gone out. So this is called asthira, unstable. This is the quality of one's mind. It's unstable. Plus, when you say listen to this, because this is one of the most important talks, why? It is not about Krishna, it is not about Arjuna, it is about your own inner personality. The demons are within us, and the gods are also within us. And thus these gods, this righteous behavior in us is supposed to fight the unrighteousness within us, not externally. Therefore, listen. When this is said, you bring your mind again back to focus and listen. And then when you're listening, you look and you get lost in this frame. What are the temples behind? Which temple is that where he's sitting and talking? It's gone somewhere. You've stopped focusing on what the topic is. This is called chanchana. Therefore, our mind represents a monkey. It runs everywhere. And if you put that monkey in a particular compartment and make it sit, it will not be able to sit. It will keep on doing this constantly. It will not be able to sit. That's the monkey. So our mind is like that. Asthira and chanchala, restless by nature. Then drida. Drida is afterwards actually. Restless, turbulent. The comparison is like a wind. It is turbulent. Turbulent in the sense of, if you have seen the what's it called, typhoon or the hurricane, right? When the hurricane comes, it comes at a particular speed, and you feel you can get away with it. You can get away with it. But when it comes at full speed, it picks up trees and trucks and throws it away, miles away. That's the power of the hurricane. Now imagine if you are inside that and you are caught in a hurricane. It will take you to a high and then throw you away. In that turbulence, if you can imagine, if you have a vivid imagination, you are in that turbulence and moving full speed, you cannot do anything. You cannot do anything. No self-effort will help you there, because the time for self-effort is gone. You will have to just let it be and take nature. Let nature take its own course. Wherever it wants to throw you away, let it be thrown away. That it should be that. You can't do anything there once you are inside the cat. Similarly, when the mind is turbulent in nature, it's caught up with something. I don't know, I want to do this. How dare he do that? Or how dare she? Once it is caught in the turbulence, whatever logic explanation you give, it will not listen. It needs to go through that experience. It will not listen to anything. This is the power of the mind. Duryodhana wanted to punish the Pandavas, and therefore he saw to it that their palace which they had built should be burned to ashes. And till the last, he wanted to kill each and every one of them. Why? Because he thought that the kingdom of Hastinapur was rightfully his. One thought pattern changed, and he wanted to destroy them. Whatever anybody explained, Vidur came and explained, Bhishma came and explained, it will not work, it did not work. That is the turbulence. Once the mind makes up, this is what I am going to do in a negative way, it will take you off. That's why majority of people, they ask the question that when a person is already in depression, what can he think to come out of it? It is exactly like this turbulence. When a person is already in depression, you can't do anything. You can't do anything. It's like the husband is already angry at you, or the wife is already angry at you, and you try to investigate it. Why are you getting angry? Don't get angry. It will make them more angry. So the best way is to ride the anger, keep quiet, and when the anger subsides after a few hours, then you bring up the topic in a very simple logic way. That's all. Anything for that matter. So it is turbulent, it is asthira, unstable, it is restless, it is strong. Oh my God. Once the mind picks up and says, this is what needs to be done, you can't shake it off. You just can't shake. A thought has to enter, that's all. One thought is enough. As soon as a thought, I want to reach this place. Obstinate, strong and obstinate come together. This is, one man actually called me and said, sir, I would like to talk to you. I said, please come. So the person came. And in fact, sorry, not came. I went to his office. And when I went to his office, I asked him, how are you doing? He said, I'm fine, sir, I'm fine. But I've not slept for past 15 days. I said, oh my God, what happened? Are you all right? Yes, physically, I'm all right. No problems physically. No problem. I'm doing gymming and everything. How is your wife? Is she all right? She's all right. No. What about your two children, sweet daughters you have? One was a 5-year-old and the other was 8-year-old or something. Oh, both the daughters are brilliant. They're my life. Excellent. So then anything wrong with the business going on? No, business was very good, sir. Last year also, I made 100 crore business. I said, congratulations, very good. So what is the problem? Sir, this coming year, instead of 100 crores, I want to make it 1,000 crores. And I'm trying to rake my brains of how to make it 1,000 crores. 100 crores is made, but not happy. Lost sleep on that. This is exactly what happened to Macbeth. No sleep. I murdered. He shouts in between Macbeth. I murdered. All the soldiers come and says, what, whom you murdered? He said, I murdered sleep. This is the mind. It is so strong, it will not allow you to rest in peace. And therefore, oh Krishna, it is very difficult for me, in fact for anybody, to control the mind. A valid question, a beautiful question from a simple guy. And the beauty is, next verse, what a beautiful answer Krishna gives. Downright practical for anybody who wants to live a beautiful life. We'll continue that next time. Thank you very much. Oh